Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to create an iOS plugin to display 3D models or reality files in augmented reality in Godot game engine. So this is an iOS specific video. Now what kind of 3D models we can show? It would be like UHDZ model. So you can't really use GLTF or GLB model because that is the 3D model format which is supported by Apple. And what are reality files? So suppose you want to display a complex scene inside augmented reality, so a 3D model won't suffice, so you can create a reality file which can have multiple 3D models or a complete game of sort. And how to create those three reality files? For that you can use a software called I think it was, what was it called? Let me just quickly check. I think it was called Reality Composer. So let me quickly check the software. Sorry, I forgot the name of the software because I did not create any of this reality files. I have just downloaded it. So yeah, the software name is Reality Composer for creating reality files. I will show you that what exactly is a reality file as well. And that Reality Composer software is only available on iPad and iOS. It is not a Mac software. Previously it was a Mac software, and currently if you want to use it on Mac, you have to download something called Reality Composer Pro, which Apple you introduced it for Vision OS. But I think to create reality files for iOS and iPad OS, you can use Reality Composer Pro as well. I'm not really sure, I haven't tried it, but you can definitely use Reality Composer. That is only available for iPad and iOS device. So enough of this, let's get started. Now I will be using this reality files. So if you go to this documentation, Apple do provide some reality files out of the box. So if you want, you can download this, and there are some 3D models as well which Apple provides, so you can download any of these 3D models. So let's get started. So first, to create iOS plugin, obviously you would require macOS, and make sure you have installed Xcode from the Apple App Store. And then you would require Python, so you can download Python as well. Then we require a software called Sconce. For that you can install Homebrew. I'm assuming most of you might already have Homebrew on your Mac, and then you can just run this particular command inside your terminal: brew install Sconce. This is required to generate some iOS specific headers from the Godot game engine source code. Okay, next, so ignore this work folder for now. This was just my practice. Okay, now whatever I will do, just follow whatever I am doing. So inside your workspace or wherever you want, just create a folder called I will just name it as workspace. Okay, or I will name it as my workspace. Name it whatever you feel like. Then inside here we have to create a folder called plugin. Now just follow what I am doing. Okay, then we inside the plugin folder we have to clone the Godot source code from GitHub. Now at the time of me recording this video, I am using Godot 4.2.2. so you can open your terminal, cd to this plugin folder, and then run this particular command, git clone -b. Now instead of 4.2, if you are using Godot 4.3 or 4.4, you should change this particular version number, and this would remain the same for everyone. Now given that this take lot of time, I already have the Godot source code inside my practice project, so I'll just copy it and paste it inside my plugin folder, but you should clone it. Okay, now this will take little bit of time. Now the next thing, once the cloning has been done, what you will have to do, you will have to cd to the Godot folder inside your terminal, and then you will have to run this command. Now again, this command will take even more time, like maybe an hour or two depending on your machine. So I already have run this command inside the Godot folder which I am copying, so I don't need to run this command again. So yeah, you will have to run it again. Next we will have to create a static library. So just open Xcode, click create new project, select iOS static library, click next, and here I will give it some name. I won't so to display augmented reality I will be using something called AR quick look. Now I won't give the product name as quick look because I don't want to collide it with the default iOS framework of quick look, so I will just give it something like a reality. So hopefully this works. And language I will keep it as Objective-C. You can give any product name, but if you are doing this for the very first time, it's better you follow me, otherwise you can make a lot of mistakes and it might be a little frustrating. So just click on next. Then we will just go to the folder where our plugin is located. So inside my workspace plugin I will just click create. Okay, now I will be copying some bit of code because it's very difficult for me to remember all the code by myself. So we require an header, this. Okay, so I'll just drag and drop. So firstly we will have to create a module header as well as Objective-C file. So what I will do is right click. Okay, before I forget, go to project reality, and here you can select the minimum iOS deployment target. Just check like what is the minimum deployment target for quick look on iOS or on iPadOS. So I think I'm not really sure, you might have to check the documentation for this, but I think at least from iOS 15 or 14 this is supported. So what I'll do is I'll just keep it as 16. At the time of me recording, 17.5 is the latest iOS version, but I think by the time you watch it maybe iOS 18 might already be out. So 16 is fine for me. So next I will create two files. So first right click, new file, header file, next, and I will give name as reality underscore module. I'll copy this and I'll click on create. Then I will again right click, new file, Objective-C file, next, reality underscore module, click next, and I'll click on create. Next, this Objective-C file which you see, this one as well as this one, we have to change the extension to .mm, which is Objective-C++. So I will change the extension. Okay, next now we'll have to copy some boilerplate code. So I'll just copy this code which I already have and I'll paste it over here. Okay, and here instead of arithmetic we have to write reality, over here as well, over here as well, over here, and over here as well. Okay, so this is done. Then we'll have to copy the implementation details. Again, this is boilerplate code, irrespective of what iOS plugin you are going to create, just copy paste it. You just have to change the name of your library everywhere. So here again, instead of arithmetic I have to write reality, here as well reality, here as well, but here R should be capital, here reality as well, here as well, and R should be capital, then here as well, and here as well, R should be capital, then here also inside the method names. So we'll change it to reality over here and reality over here. Okay, so this is done. Then we'll go to this header file which we have. So again, I'll copy paste a lot of code. I'll explain what is the relevant detail, but most of it is just boilerplate code. So I'll just copy it. I'll go to this header file which we had and I'll paste it over here. So firstly we will have to change the name arithmetic to reality everywhere. Okay, then I'll just copy this, and here also I'll have to change it to reality. Okay, then here we are importing UIKit, quick look as well as ARKit. These are the three dependency which we require for showing augmented reality model using AR quick look. Then again here we'll have to change the name to reality. Okay, over here as well and over here as well. Now there are two methods which I have created. I want to show you both the ways, like how to, suppose if you have a local 3D model or a local 3D reality file, how to like embed that 3D file inside your project, and then you can easily load that inside augmented reality space. But what if it is an extremely large 3D model or extremely large reality file, and suppose it is on my server, then how to download it from server and show it to AR using AR quick look as well. That's why I have created these two methods. So here in the first method I will just require the name as well as the extension. Typically the extension is USDC, you can hard code it, but just for my own sanity, I guess I have created a separate variable for extension as well, but mostly USDC are supported in AR quick look. Then for network 3D, like where if suppose if your reality file or 3D model is located on your server, it would just require one URL from the Godot side. We will be passing this data from Godot side. So yeah, that's it. Next, again this is boilerplate, so here again I'll have to change the name over here as well as over here. So yeah, that's it for the header file. Next I will go over here and I will copy paste the code and I will explain it to you what exactly. So most of you might either be having like loading the 3D or reality file from network or from local. Like most of you won't be having both those use cases. Okay, so anyways, let's get started. Again, this is all boilerplate code, so don't worry about it. Here I will just change this to reality, and here we are creating our preview view controller, which will help us to display the 3D model inside augmented reality space. Now if you are loading the 3D model or reality file from network, you will use this. If you are loading it from your app itself, from your local, then you will require these two variables. And this is, I have just created this variable just to check whether if it is from network or it is from local, so that I can just write the appropriate code. Then here I have just created helper because we need to write these two delegates for AR quick look, and here we have to write the implementation for this. So given that we are extending this to delegate, we have to override these two methods, and here I'm just returning 1 because number of preview items for me would be 1, but in case if you have large number of preview items, you should change this number. And here now this will actually help us to display the model. So suppose if it is a local model, then we just require the model name as well as model extension, and we can just return the model URL. But in case if it is a network model, so here I'm not passing the actual network HTTPS URL. I'm firstly downloading it, saving it to the local of your of the user's iOS device, and then whatever is the local path, I'm like updating this variable to the local path. So don't get confused just because I have named this as network model URL. Okay, I'll tell you where exactly I'm assigning later. All right, also here I will have to change everywhere from arithmetic to reality. Over here as well. Okay, I'll come. Then here we are just instantiating our instance of reality. So over here as well, we are creating one helper instance or like variable for our helper, and here also we are instantiating our reality static library. Here we are initializing our reality helper. Okay, and then here we are initializing our preview controller, which will help us to display objects in augmented reality. We are setting the data source and delegate as well for them. Here also I will update it. This is for like destructor or deinitialization. Okay, also here I will just change, this is fine. Then here also I will change the name again to reality, and here we are returning the singleton instance. Now here we are binding some methods. So these two are the methods which we define inside the header file. Okay, and this is a signal. So suppose if you want to send some signal from Godot side to from native iOS side to back to Godot side, then you can use something like this. Okay, and here now here we are implementing the open local 3D model. So firstly we need to convert this string to NS string. That's what I'm doing over here and assigning it to model name. Similarly I'm doing same for model extension. Is locally I have kept it as yes. Then we just have to make use of our preview controller. So first here I'm just finding our root view controller, which will help us to present this preview controller to the user, and it will automatically display that particular 3D model. So that's it for this open local 3D. For open network 3D, so first I have updated this variable. Okay, and then here we are getting hold of our URL. Okay, so I'm converting it to NS string. Then we need to create an NS URL. So I'm making use of NS URL session. So this is how you download any kind of file using NS URL session in Objective-C. This is an iOS API, and then we get hold of our file manager. I'm saving it to our file manager using documents directory. So here you can see, and then once the file has been saved, here as you can see I'm updating our network model URL. Also I think this should be, I think I made a mistake over here, UTF-8, because here I am emitting a signal. UTF-8. Okay, let me quickly check this code and come back to you. Okay, so here as you can see, once the like why I'm emitting a signal for this is because suppose this downloading might take a little bit of time, because this reality and USDC file are quite big. So till you don't get this signal, you will have to disable the button, otherwise the user, or display a progress bar, something like that. Otherwise the user might get confused that nothing is happening. So that's why once the download is completed, I'm sending a signal. But once the download is completed, again I'm doing the same thing. I'm getting hold, I'm on the main thread, I'm getting hold of our root view controller and then launching our preview controller. Okay, and in case of error I'm just displaying the error. And here don't forget this download task resume, otherwise your download task would never get started. Okay, so this is done. Now here I have just created one cheat sheet, so I'll just check if I have shown you everything. Okay, now okay, then you will have to go over here, go to targets, build settings, search for header search path, and you will have to go to your Godot folder. Then here you will have to go to what's the folder name, platform, go to iOS, and here just right click any of this file so that we can get the path to this. I'll just click on get info. Okay, and I'll get this particular path. Okay, I'll copy this path and I'll just paste it over here. So just click on this plus button, paste, enter. Okay, done. Now we have to close Xcode completely, so I'll just quit Xcode. Okay, sorry, before that I'll quickly reopen Xcode because I just want to check whether I have named everything correctly or not, in case if there is any arithmetic name present or not. Arithmetic. Okay, I did forget somewhere, I knew it, thankfully. So here also you will have to change the name to reality. Okay, as well as over here reality. I'll just copy this, and here also I'll have to name it reality. Okay, let's check. Also ignore all these errors because Godot and Xcode does not play nicely with each other. Okay, and here also we'll have to change. Let's see. Okay, so now it is done. I'll quickly quit Xcode. Next what you have to do is you will have to move this .xcode proj one folder ahead, so something like this, and inside this file, all this file, just copy all these files and move one folder ahead as well. So you just get this empty reality folder which we have. You will have to just delete this. Again, why we are doing this I'm not really sure, but if you don't do this your plugin won't work. Then I'll just close other files. Then we have to create this arithmetic.gdip file. So I already have this. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll copy this file inside my plugin folder. Now firstly you can just create a .gdip file. I'll show you the content in a bit. but here you will have to rename it to reality.gdip, and I'll open it. So here you can see this is what a gdip file looks like. You can just copy paste it. I'll just have to change the name everywhere again to reality instead of arithmetic. Remove this as well, and I'll remove this as well. Okay, and here we are using this UI kit, quick look framework, as well as AR kit. That's why we have to add this capabilities. Now you might be wondering that for augmented reality don't we require permission for camera? Given that we are using the quick look framework that is handled internally by Apple, we don't have to worry about it. All right, this is done. Then okay, this is done. Then we have to create one s-construct file. This is quite a big file, so you can go to this particular URL to download a sample of this s-construct file. All right, so I already have it, so I'll just copy paste it. Again, you have to paste it inside your plugin folder. Now open this s-construct file. I'm opening it in VS Code. Just check whether it has the name arithmetic or not. If it has, then, or whatever name it has, change it to reality. Okay, then again here also we'll have to change it to reality. So we are just telling consider the realities CPP Objective-C++ or Objective-C file. Okay, so no more arithmetic inside my s-construct file. And here there is one more thing. So here whatever minimum deployment target you had set inside Xcode, make sure you change it to that particular version. So I had set 16, so use same version over here, 16 over here, 16 over here. Okay, so this is done as well. So I'll just scroll down. Then we have to create a bin folder inside plugin. So I'll just create a bin folder, and I will open my terminal. I will go to my workspace. I will go to plugin. I'll clear everything out. Okay, and then we have to run this particular command. Now this is for release debug. Make sure if you are releasing it to App Store, make sure you run the actual release command. But yeah, so I'll just copy this command, and instead of again arithmetic we have to write reality. I will run this. Now what this will do is, if our code is correct, it will create a .a file inside this particular bin folder. Okay, so here you can see it has created this .a file. Next we have to create a Godot project. So I will just open Godot, click new, my Godot project. I will browse desktop samples, Godot, my trial, my workspace. Select the current folder. Don't create it inside the plugin folder, it will cause a lot of confusion for you. That's why I'm creating it outside the plugin folder. So I'll just create a project. Alright, so firstly we have to create a folder called iOS. So I'll again go back to my file explorer. Here is our Godot project. I'll create a folder called iOS. Inside that we have to create a folder called plugins with an S, and then we will have to copy paste our .gdip file. So inside the iOS plugins folder. Okay, so I have copy pasted it, and we also need to copy paste the .a file. So I'll just copy paste that as well, iOS plugins, and here I will rename the .a file to reality. Alright, so this is done. Okay, I have done this. Then we'll have to go to project, export, add iOS. Just click on this fix import button. App Store team ID I will tell you later on. Here you have to give some bundle identifier. I'll just give it as com.myawesome Godot game. Typically a bundle identifier is com.your company name .your app name or game name, whatever it is, but for me it is fine. Also inside plugins you should see reality, so make sure you check that checkbox. Now if you want to enter your App Store team ID, you can go to this particular URL. It will tell you how to get your App Store team ID. I'm not showing it to you, so I will enter my App Store team ID later on. So here this is done. Okay, only after entering your app store team id this export project button will be visible, and that is very necessary for us. Also I will create one more folder here inside my workspace called awesome iOS. You can name it whatever you feel like, but inside this folder we will once you export our Godot project, all this content will be inside this folder. Okay, now I will just create a 2D scene. We'll just go to we'll create one button for loading the model from local, and second button for loading the model from network. I will also create one more label because we are sending that done signal in case if you want to see it, but the logic of enabling and disabling the button till the model from your network is downloaded has to be written by you. I don't think that would be that difficult. I will just name it as local. Okay, if you want you can change the font size as well. Network. Okay, now I'll quickly save. I will quickly run as well so that our current scene is selected. Okay, then I will just select this, attach one script to it. Okay, now I will again copy paste some code from my initial practice. So node_2.gd. I'll copy paste all this code and I'll explain it to you. So firstly I am just getting hold of our label, so our label name is label. Okay, and this should be also label. Then what I am doing is, here I am creating a variable called arithmetic, but in our case it is reality. Then if the engine has a plugin called reality, R capital, then we initialize it. So this should be reality, this should be reality, and this should be also reality with R capital. Here we are attaching our signal. So once we get a signal, this method will get executed, get_result, and here I'm just updating the label, but you should like enable your button or like hide your progress bar if you are showing some progress bar, because at that time the network like your app has finished downloading the model from network. Alright, then I will just quickly add click listeners for this button, like press signals. I've added for this and for this as well. Okay, why is it not showing? I will close and reopen this. Go to 2D script, node_. I don't know, like typically it shows a symbol over here. It has properly connected, but I don't know why it is not showing. Maybe some Godot bug. Now the first one is for local press, right, and second is for network. So here you can see I'm just calling those methods open local 3D. Okay, sorry, this should also be reality. Now also this should be reality, and this should also be reality. So now now we are getting that proper symbols. So here you can see this is the name of my reality file or 3D model, which I will which will be embedded inside my application. Now you might be thinking where I have exactly embedded this, which I will show you that shortly after we export our Godot project. Also, this is the network URL where my file is stored. So I just downloaded this file, this reality file, and I pushed it to my server. I am using Firebase storage. So if you want, you can use that. Don't use this URL because by the time you watch this video, I will delete this URL. So this is how you can use it for reality file, because the extension is reality. If you are trying to do it for USDZ, then you will have to use something like this, and I will just comment this out. So this one is for, I think, reality, something like that. I don't know. This is for USDG, okay, and this is for reality. So you can use something like this. I'll just uncomment this, comment this out. Okay, now I'll quickly enter my App Store team ID and come back. Okay, so I have entered my app store team id, then I can just click on export project. I'll go back to where I have created awesome iOS. I'll click on save. Now again the exporting might take a little bit of time, so be patient. Once the export is done, I'll come back. Okay, so as you can see, my export was done successfully. Then all I did was go to my awesome iOS folder and just double click on it to open the Xcode project. Now I will embed this local USDZ as well as reality file. Okay, so what I'll do is, so here I have downloaded this file. Ignore this, like this again was my practice project. So I'll just drag and drop inside the Godot project, my Godot project, and make sure you check this, all this checkbox which I have checked. Click finish. So this I have just added this reality file to my project, as well as I will add some USDZ file as well. Okay, so this is done. Also one more thing is, click on your project, go to targets and go to sign in and capabilities. If your team is not selected, make sure you select your team, and your team should be the same for which you have entered your app store team id. Even after selecting if your team, if you are getting some error from Xcode, make sure you uncheck this checkbox and check it again and select your team again, so that most probably resolves the issue. So I will quickly run the project. I will show it to you. Okay guys, so here you can see the output. Now I have these two buttons, so I will just click on local first. So here you can see now the light in my room is little awkward, but here you can see it has. Now I will just click on this. So this is a reality file, and here you can see that it's pretty good, even though this is like AR in real space, it is doing all sorts of animations. And if I want, the creator of this reality file has done this additional touch points as well. If I click on it, here you can see these all text or information badges also come, and here you can see this thing changed as well. If I can rotate this as well, I can zoom it as well, so it feels like a real person. Okay, sorry. Then I can just click on this back, and here you can see some kind of animation also plays. So these are pretty good. I'll click on this as well. So if I don't want it, if here you can see I'm presented with the option of AR and object as well. So if I click on object, I can just display this 3D model. But if I go to AR, I can see it in our real world space, augmented reality space. So now I will just close this. So there is this button as well. Here you can see at the top left, I can close this. Now if you try to press network, it won't work. Like there is some issue, this is not really an issue with network as such. It's just that I have to rerun my project. So whatever you select at the very start, that would run, because that augmented reality is not getting updated. But I don't think that's really an issue, because many of you would either use the local setup or the network setup. So here again I'm showing you guys the output. So I have rerun my project. Now if I click on network, so here you can see it is taking a little bit of time to download the 3D model or whatever it is, 3D model from network. But here you can see, now I just need to move my iPad a little because the light, so here you can see I can rotate this as well. So pretty good stuff. So that's it. Now if you want to try, you can try with this too as well. Like I haven't shown you this toy plane. Let me show that as well, just to show off a little. And I will just comment this and I will use this. Okay, now I'll just comment this out as well. Now again I'll have to export my project. So project, export project, save. Okay, so use version on disk. Again I'll have to wait till the Xcode process is complete. Okay, so I'll just quickly run this project again. Don't worry about like if you are trying both local and network simultaneously without rerunning. Most of you will either use one of those, so you don't really have to worry about it. So here I will just click on local. Okay, something went wrong. Okay, let's see. Initialize reality. Okay, let me just check. Toy plane idle UHDZ. Oh, I'll again have to add this files, right? Add this. Where did it go? Because I exported the Godot project again, those 3D models which I had added got vanished, so I have to add them again. Where did it go? My iOS book. Okay, I'll add this reality again, add to targets, and now we will see this toy plane hopefully. So I'll quickly run the project again. Now most of you might be thinking, why didn't I bundle this with the static library? I'm not really sure if you can do that. Maybe it's possible, but then like I have tried doing this for core data and it didn't work for me, so that's why I didn't try this for a particular thing. But maybe you can try it and let me know. So if I click on local now, oh sorry, so here you can see, I'll just oh okay, so here you can see the plane. I mean, it's pretty good, like, so yeah. Now I'll quickly rerun the app again, just to show you. I think there is one more, like the network one. I'm not really sure which one I'm using. I'll just click on network now. Okay, so this plane or something, I don't really know what this is. Okay, so here you can see, and if I click on it, it does play some kind of an animation. Not really sure. Here you can see it plays some kind of an animation, so pretty cool. Yeah, like most of you might even think like this is for very basic stuff. Actually it's not. In Reality Composer, with the help of reality files, we can create lot of like extremely complex reality files, and you can also add not just 3D models, like you can add text, 3D text, sounds, audio as well. So yeah, do check out Reality Composer on iOS, iPad, and Reality Composer Pro. I haven't tried Reality Composer Pro. Anyways, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.